in this video, you're going to be learning how to multiply rational numbers. In order for you to multiply rational numbers, we're going to be using the same rules that we used on multiplying integers. If you do not remember how to multiply integers, you can go back and rewatch that video. So basically, different signs is going to be negative your answer. The same sign is going to be positive your answer. So let's see. Negative 2 and 5/10 times positive 3 and 6/10. By now, you can already see that your final answer will be negative, okay? So, in order for you to multiply these two decimals, I suggest that you multiply their absolute value. Absolute value of negative 2 and 5/10 is positive 2 and 5/10. Absolute value of 3 and 6/10 is just positive 3 and 6/10. So let's line them up. It will be this way. In multiplication, it does not matter if they have the decimal points line up because we're going to shift it out and then shift it in again. So before I start multiplying, I'm going to shift out my decimal point. So I move it 1 time and 2 times out. So now I have like a whole number multiplication. 25 times 36. So let's multiply. 6 times 5 is equals to 30. I'll put 3 right on top. 6 times 2 is equals to 12. 12 plus 3 is equals to 15. Let me place a 0 under this 0 because now I'm going to multiply by the tens place, okay? Not by the ones place like I did. So I'm going to put a 0 here. 3 times 5 is equals to 15. I'll carry 1. And then 3 times 2 is equals to 6. Plus 1 is 7. Now I'm ready to add them. 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. 5 plus 5 is equals to 10. I'm going to carry 1 here. 7 plus 1 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So now I need to bring down my decimal points. As I shift it twice, 1 and 2, I'm going to bring it down 2 times, okay? So remember that there is always an invisible decimal point. So I'm going to bring it 1 time and 2 times. So my answer in this case, it is either 9 wholes or 9.00 as you want to write it, okay? So remember, they have different signs, so my answer has to be negative. Negative 9 wholes. Or it could be negative 9.00. This is the same, okay? Please pause the video and try to do this multiplication. Very good. So by now, you already know that as you're multiplying rational numbers with different signs, your answer must be negative, okay? So let's see. 5 and 1/10 times 1 and 8/10. Let me shift out my decimal points, 1 and 2 spaces out, and now I have my whole number multiplication. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. As I am going to be multiplying by the tens place, I'm going to place a 0 under the ones place. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Now I'm ready to add them. 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 1 is 1. And 4 plus 5 is 9. Now, as I shifted my decimal point 2 spaces in total, now I'm going to bring it out 2 spaces now. Invisible decimal point is at the end, and now I do 1 and 2 spaces. So my answer has to be, remember, different signs, negative. So negative 9 and 1/1800. This is my final answer. Pause the video and try to do this multiplication by yourself. Please notice that both of the numbers are negative. So they have the same signs. When they have the same signs, your answer must be positive. Absolute value of negative 2 and 8 tenths is positive 2 and 8 tenths. Absolute value of negative 1 and 7 tenths, it is positive 1 and 7 tenths. So now I'm ready to multiply. Shift out the decimal points, 1 and 2 spaces, and now I'm going to multiply 7 times 8, which is 56. I'm going to carry a 5. 7 times 2, which is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. I'm going to place a 0 under the ones place because now I'm ready to multiply by the tens place. 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now you're ready to add them. 6 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 8 is 17. I'll carry a 1 right here. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Now, as I shifted out my decimal point 2 spaces, I'm going to shift it in 2 spaces. Invisible decimal points, 1 and 2. So this is my answer. As they have the same sign, my answer will be positive. So it is 4 and 76 hundredths, my final answer. Now we're going to be multiplying these rational numbers. We were multiplying rational numbers involving decimals, so now we're going to be multiplying rational numbers involving fractions. Before we do this, I would like to remind you how to multiply fractions. If I have, for example, these, half times 1/3, okay? I just need to multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. And I need to simplify if it's possible. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. This is my final answer. That's it. In order for you to multiply fractions, the only thing that you need to do is multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. Now that you have this background knowledge activated for you, now let's multiply these rational numbers. As you can see, I have a fraction by a mixed number. So let's turn this mixed number into a fraction, into an improper fraction, okay? So 4 times 2 is equals to 8. 8 plus 3 is equals to 11. So I have negative 11, denominator stays the same, okay? Times negative 1/3. Both of them have the same sign. So my final answer will be positive. 1 times 11 is equals to 11. 3 times 4 is equals to 12. So this is my final answer, 11, 12. Pause the video and try to do this multiplication by yourself. Very good. So I only need to multiply numerator by numerator, which is 4 times 2 is equals to 8, and denominator by denominator. 5 times 3 is equals to 15. In this case, as both of them share the same sign, which is negative, my answer will be positive. In this case, I cannot simplify more, so this will be my final answer, 8 out of 15, or 8/15. Please pause the video and try to do this multiplication by yourself. Small hint, turn the mixed numbers into improper fraction first. Very good. So let's do 4 times 2, which is equals to 8. 8 plus 1, which is equals to 9. Denominator will stay the same. Times 3 times 2 is equals to 6. 6 plus 1 is equals to 7. So it will be negative 7. Denominator stays the same. As you can see, these are different signs. So my final answer has to be negative. So let's see. Let me place a negative sign so I do not forget. 9 times 7 is equals to 63. And 2 times 3 is equals to 6. As you already know, I cannot leave it as an improper fraction. So I need to turn that either into a decimal or a mixed number. So let's divide. Remember, denominator stays the same, and it's outside, and 63 comes here inside. 6 fits into 6 one time, so it will be 6 minus 6 is equals to 0. Now I'm going to bring down the other digit. As 6 does not fit into 3, it will be 0, because 6 times 0 is 0. Let me bring down these 3. As you can see, I need to get help from my invisible zeros that are here. So I'm going to place the decimal point, then I'm going to move my decimal point up, and then I'm going to bring down that invisible zero that is going to help me. So it's 30. 6 times 5 is equals to 30. So now I know that my final answer is negative, remember, negative 10 and 5/10. That is the same as negative 10 and a half, all right? So if you decided to leave it either as a decimal or as a mixed number, you got it right. You got the same answer, so it's correct.